Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Warm Springs Tournament Award Ceremony. Thank you all for sticking with us, and we hope that all of you will enjoy these. We hope that all of you will enjoy this award ceremony. Now, please remember before this starts that regardless of whether or not your name is on one of these lists, all of you guys are winners. All of you guys put in tremendous amounts of hard work and effort into creating the best plans possible, and all of you deserve to be extremely proud of yourself today. But now let's get into the award ceremony and see which teams and speakers individually stand out. So congratulations, first of all, to everyone for successfully completing in this tournament. For a large portion of all of you, this is going to be a last ever elementary school tournament. So this should be a moment to keep in mind in future years. So first of all, the fourth grade top speakers. The fourth grade division this year was quite honestly one of the best that we've ever had in the history of this tournament. So I'm especially proud of all of these fourth graders who put in all of that effort to learn all about the MSPDP format and so forth. So here it goes. This fourth grade second place speaker is Nidarshana, and first place fourth grade speaker is Ashna. Congratulations. For fifth grade, the top speakers. Fifth grade, we had a tie for first and second. We had a tie for first place. So the first person who got first place was Advika, and the second person who got first place is Avni. So congratulations to both of these people. And for sixth grade, in second place, Rithwik, and in first place, Veer. Congratulations to all of the top speakers. All right, and now there were a lot of teams that went completely undefeated throughout the course of this entire tournament. An undefeated team means that they won both of the rounds and didn't lose anything. All of these undefeated teams, it is clear, put in a tremendous amount of hard work into creating the best ever plan. So tremendous congratulations to these undefeated teams. From fourth grade, Ashna, Taiba, and Nidarshana. From fourth grade, Dhruv and Arav. From fourth grade, Anitham, Isha, and Arush. From fifth grade, Lena, Avni, and Anya. From fifth grade, Elaine, Advika, and Divya. From sixth grade, Amol, Samahit, and Akshaya. From sixth grade, Amy, Nidhi, and Shreya. So congratulations to everyone today for participating in this tournament. And now to wrap up this tournament, we are going to be having a final debate. The two teams that were selected to go into the final debate are as follows. First of all, Divya, Elaine, and Advika. They will be the proposition team in this debate. And secondly, Amy, Nidhi, and Shreya. This final debate will wrap up the Warm Springs tournament. I hope that all of you enjoyed this tournament greatly. And now let's have this issue settled for once and for all. Did FUST implementing a pass-fail grading system do more harm than good or not? Thank you. So none of the Fremont Debate Academy events would be possible without all of the hard work from all of our volunteers and so forth. So thank you to everyone. And if you want to keep up to date with all of the FDA if you want to keep up to date with debate, there is a tremendous amount of resources out on the FDA YouTube channel, for example. If you click the YouTube channel that is right below this video, you can see that. The FDA website also has a lot of resources and videos and worksheets. We have an Instagram page and a Facebook page. So I highly recommend you check those out if you want to learn more about debate. And thank you for watching the award ceremony. So now let's watch the final debate. Thank you. Can we have the competitors turn on their video now so we can start the final debate, please? All right, first proposition speaker, whenever you are ready.
A quick off-time roadmap for your convenience. First, I'll be stating my definition and the weighing mechanism, and then I'll be going on to my own points. My time starts now. Hi, my name is Elaine Huang, and I'm the first proposition speaker of the topic, FUSD implementing a pass-fail grading system has done more harm than good. In this debate, the definition is only saying pass-fail, but does not mention hold harmless anywhere in it, so we are arguing that pass-fail alone has done more harm than good. This is a system where a student can either get a pass or a fail. To get a pass, your grade needs to be above 60%, which is equivalent to a D in letter grades. In this debate, we will be mentioning the hold harmless grading system. What that system is a system where a student's grade cannot drop below the grade that they have at now. The difference between hold harmless and pass-fail grading system is that hold harmless is when grades cannot drop below what they were on March 13th. Pass-fail means that they can drop below what they were on March 13th, but they will not be getting letter grades, only pass or fail. The topic is FUSD implementing a pass-fail grading system has done more harm than good. Since it says has done in the topic, this means that this debate is in the past. This means that in this debate, we can only talk about stuff that happened from March 13 to earlier today. The weighing mechanism is societal welfare. My first point is laziness. A pass in a pass-fail grading system equals 60% or a letter grade of D or more. Students barely have to try working hard for tests because of this. This leads to laziness, which is actually a more important matter than you think. One of the effects of this habit is competition. Competition is what pushes a child to work hard and reach a goal. This is decreasing now with the pass-fail grading, also adding to more laziness. Another effect will be the teacher's authority over the students. Kids do not listen to their teacher's lectures to get a passing grade. Judge, a teacher works very hard on their lessons. All of their hard work is wasted and they are feeling very disrespected. On study.com it says, letter grades are encouraging students who come to see it as a reward for hard work. They are willing to work hard because they want to be first among their peers. According to Vocal, one of the top 10 reasons why teachers tend to quit their job is because of the disrespect, mainly coming from students who don't listen to them. Many argue teachers don't do much, but this is an incorrect statement. According to Vocal, teachers are the ones who ensure the safety of the students, for example, making sure none of them lean too far back in the seats, which could have resulted in a serious injury. 85% of teachers chose their job to educate kids, a statistic from Scholastic, meaning disrespect will definitely change their views. Judge, our worries are confirmed with the public, meaning we have the public's opinion on our side. FUSD implementing a pass-fail grading system leads to students not having to do a lot of work to pass, which leads to students not doing most of their work, which leads to students getting lazy, which leads to students continuing this habit on throughout the rest of their life, which leads to jobs not getting done, which leads to people not getting all the food that they need, since people are not making money, which leads to people dying of hunger. FUSD implementing a pass-fail grading system leads to students not having to do a lot of work in order to get a passing grade, which leads to kids slacking off since they have no competition, which leads to students not working hard throughout life as now they have laziness as a strong habit, which leads to adults not trying to make the world a better place, for example, by not making new inventions and finding cures to diseases, which leads to a lazy society who lag around due to not having competition compared to other countries. FUSD implementing a pass-fail grading system leads to students not having to work as hard, which leads to students not coming to all of the online classes since they do not need to for a passing grade, which leads to teachers feeling disrespected, which leads to teachers going on strike together, which leads to them quitting their jobs, which leads to this happening in many schools, which leads to parents complaining to the government, which leads to the government disagreeing with the people or gridlock. My time ends now.
Awesome job, Elaine. Now the first opposition speaker.
Hi, I'm Shreya, and I'm the first opposition speaker for the debate. FUSD implementing a pass-fail grading system has done more harm than good. So for an off-time roadmap for your convenience, I'll first state our weighing mechanism. I'll first refute their weighing mechanism, and then I'll state our own points. So our weighing mechanism is net benefits, which is the most amount of good for the most people. Okay, so our first point is that it helps teachers and students to stay emotionally balanced during a pandemic such as the COVID-19. So right now, academic resources and subsidized food, etc., are not accessible to all students, especially the ones from poor families who may not have the same privileges as their peers. Students may be in an abusive environment at home as well. Teachers have little to no prior experience in managing classes remotely, and some classes cannot translate to online classes. The teachers can feel stressed this way. Besides, some kids or teachers' families might have been affected by the COVID-19, and they might have lost their jobs. This might lead to them not being disposed to consider learning or teaching as their priority. According to the University of Minnesota, the U.S. has lost 20.6 million jobs since mid-March, resulting in an unemployment rate of 14.7%, a level that has not been seen since the Great Depression of the 1930s. The Yale Center surveyed 5,000 teachers on their emotional lives during the COVID-19 crisis and found that stress was one of their major emotions. The National Health Institute says stress produces cortisol and can hamper mental health and learning capabilities. According to the administrations for children and families, during the past few months, the child abuse rate has gone up as well. This can be extremely difficult for children to learn. Our sources were Yale University, NPR.org, and Administration for Children and Families. With the pass-fail grading system, the stress is reduced and this helps the teachers and students to stay emotionally balanced, promoting learning outcomes rather than the stress caused by the latter grades. The poor will not be able to learn, and the gap between the rich and poor will increase. Our second point is that it improves cohesion and performance. With the pass-fail grading system, kids will be more likely to help each other, thus improving cohesion, and there will also be no unhealthy competition that stresses them. There will be no conflicts between teachers and students over grades. Teachers will reward students for participation and efforts, and students will be more receptive to the comments to improve, and in turn, kids will be interested in learning and the teachers will be interested in teaching. Kids with family difficulties will get more help from their peers and teachers at school and will be able to manage better as well. According to the National Library of Medicine, students graded with the pass-fail system had less stress and a greater group cohesion with their graded peers. A study in 2004 at Benedict College, a historically Black college in Columbia, constructing a grading system that rewards students for participation and effort, have been shown to stimulate student interest in learning by promoting student practice, incentivize in-class participation, etc. The 2010 American College Health Association National College Health Assessment reported that more than 25% of students say that stress lowered their grades or ability to finish a course. Our sources were Harvard.edu, National Library of Medicine, and Brown.edu. With the pass-fail grading system, there is no fear of losing grades. Hence, kids learn for the love of learning and will also be introduced to new concepts. A more cohesive and less stressful environment will nurture creative learning and the students are able to perform better in studies. Creative learning promotes creative solutions, which means that there will be more solutions to environmental issues like global warming. There will be more problem solvers and creative analyzers in the world. Thank you.
Amazing job. Can we have the proposition second speaker now? Proposition second speaker, that's Advika.
Hello, Judge. My name is Advika Anand, and my time starts now. Hello, Judge. My name is Advika Anand, and I'm your second proposition speaker debating on the topic FUSD implementing a pass-fail grading system has done more harm than good. A quick off-time roadmap for your convenience. First, I will be repeating my opponent's points, then mentioning the drop point, and then finally moving on to my own point. My time starts now. So they agree with our definition since they had no refute to that. Also, they said the weighing mechanism should be net benefits, but they had no refute to our weighing mechanism of societal welfare. So in this debate, we will stick to the weighing mechanism of societal welfare. So my opponents had a point of stress, saying that students may not have the correct learning online learning resources, but FUSD Equity Department is giving out free laptops and resources for students in need so they can still keep up with their education. And also many major companies have noticed this problem and have sent money to fund for Wi-Fi and other needs. For example, Facebook contributed $250,000 to support Wi-Fi for around 2,000 students. Schools also provide free Wi-Fi and so do other places like the public library. With this, there are many online classes like Khan Academy who are now helping hundreds of more students, updating lessons every day. Also, they had a point of creative learning. In this point, they mentioned that teachers are feeling more respected, but this is untrue. As we said as my first speaker said, they are feeling disrespected as students don't need to listen to their lectures to get a passing grade. Also, creative learning. Students would much rather spend time on social media and play video games than do puzzles and like hands-on activities. They'd rather be spending time in the internet. Now I'll be mentioning the drop point. So we had a point of laziness and the other team did not respond to this. So because of this, this point stands on the table. And let me remind you, Judge, a drop point is like a dropped egg. You cannot refute this point again, and you can't use the egg again. So because of this, the other team is basically agreeing with our side because this point was so good that they could not come up with any response to it. Now I'll be moving on to my own point. Fewer students passing. Many students will fail with a pass-fail grading system as they are taking online learning for granted and may postpone assignments or not do them at all. A fail is basically like getting a 0, leading to a huge decrease in GPA. This can have harmful effects as a GPA is relevant to certain places of employment. If we had made the system hold harmless, then it would have protected a student's final grade from dropping below their third quarter grade, which in most cases is passing. According to Almanac News, Assistant Superintendent Bonnie Hansen stated that over 1,000 students have not engaged in distance learning and are at risk of dropping below a passing. FUC implementing a pass-fail grading system leads to a lot of students failing because they do not have to work hard to get the grade they need, which leads to many students having a big drop in GPA and don't get a high school diploma in the coming years, which leads to some jobs they want to get into being canceled out because of their GPA, which leads to them getting a bad job, like working in the fast food industry, which leads to a lot of stress because they're not being paid well and can't afford rent, which leads to suicide because it is too much stress to handle, which leads to suicide rates going up, which leads to a bad economy and a lot of debts. My time ends now. Thank you, Judge.
All right, my time starts now. Hello, my name is Amy Liu, and I will be the second speaker for today's, for the opposition side for today's debate. The Fremont Unified School District implementing a pass-fail rating system does more harm than good. For an on-time roadmap, I'll start off by refuting their definition, and then I'll go on to refuting their rating mechanism and then their points. They said that, so first of all, their definition kind of contradicts each other, because first they said that you can only count the what has happened during pass-fail grading system from March to now, and that is the time during the COVID pandemic. So but then for their definition, they said that we can't count the COVID pandemic. So technically, they worked against each other. Also, lives mean more than social welfare, because without lives, then like there's no economy, there's no environment, like everything is going down. So lives should be our weighing mechanism since it is the most important thing. So I will start off by refuting their first speaker's point, and they said that we cannot refute their point, but that is decreasing the educational value of today's debate, so they can't do that. So I will start off by refuting their first speaker's point, which was that they will be lazy because they will not be motivated since there will be no competition. But the thing is, that is actually, competition is not a good thing, because with competition, there's less chances for students to be motivating each other. They won't be motivating each other, and there's also less chance for teamwork, which is obviously not a good thing. So in their world, they'll be having a bad learning environment, but in our world, they will have a motivational learning environment where teachers and students are all motivating each other. Also, they said that for their refute to our point about stress, they said that for the poor, how it's unfair, they said that FUSD are giving out free resources. That might be true, but then there will still be way more stress on every student, not just the poor, for pass with a traditional grading system, because they will have a lot of pressure from teachers, parents, other students to get good grades, to get A's, right? Which means that they will feel pressured, and which means that there will be more stress. And the study on Japan, they decreased work days from 5 days a week to 4 days a week, and because of that, workers became less stressed and their productivity rates increased by 40%, which means that in our world, students will have more time for family and like to relax a little bit while still getting their work done in shorter time. Their second speaker said that there will be more students who are failing because a lot of people will be failing and they'll impact their GPA, which is because it will change that to a 0, which will cause them to not get jobs. So the main thing about this that they're saying is that there will be GPA decrease, but that's not true because actually the pass-fail rating system is not affecting students' GPA. So now I will go on to say my own points. And my point will be that there will be uniformity and no disparity in grading with a pass-fail rating system. So the reasoning behind this is that with traditional grading systems, grades are taken as a measure of competency and academic rigor of a child, school, and its teachers. There's a pressure to artificially boost the grades, resulting in grade inflation. Teachers' attitude and grading pattern differs from class to class, subject to subject, and school to school. They cannot be considered to uniformly grade all students. More uniformity in grading can be achieved through pass-fail rating system. According to the Washington Post, grade inflation has been a part of the Harvard tradition for decades now. In 2001, 49% of undergraduate grades were A's, up from 23% in 1986, and it's not just at Harvard. According to penfosters.edu, stress due to grade conflicts can cause students to drop out or resort to drugs. Anyway, so with a pass-fail grade, my sources are Harvard Education and penfosters.edu. And so because of this, there will be some hardworking students, but because of their strict teachers, they'll have lower grades and they'll feel incompetent and will resort to drugs or drop out of school entirely. They will also be feeling very stressed, which will decrease their productivity rates, as I have mentioned before. And institutes and kids' grades will also not be falsely boosted due to grade inflation or loose teachers, and no competitions will be made to falsely prove academic excellence. So because of this, students will be having better academics and they'll be more competent, which means that they will do better in the future. They'll get into better colleges. They'll hold a more stable job, and therefore they can improve the economy, which links back to, and because of that, the people will also be benefited, which links back to our weighting mechanism, which is net benefits. Thank you.
Nice work. Next speaker, please.
Hello, Judge. My name is Nidhi, and I am the third speaker for the op side of the debate. FUSD implementing a pass-fail grading system will do more harm than good. My off-time roadmap for today's debate will be impacting our side's points and finally an analysis. My time starts in 3, 2, 1. So to impact our points, the first point that we stated was helps teachers and students to stay emotionally balanced during challenging times as a pandemic. So this was partially refuted, but we have counter-refuted, so this still stands. To impact this point, emotionally balanced helps with continuing studies and not drop the course because of the stress due to COVID or lack of resources. Thus, more rate of completion of studies. The second point that we stated was improves cohesion and performance. So with pass-fail grading system, kids help each other. So the first subpoint is kids help each other and in turn learn more from the peers. The second subpoint in this point will be it reduces the stress of the teachers to grade students. The third subpoint in this, less conflict between teachers and students over grade and rewards participation and effort, and students are more receptive of the comments to improve. Kids learn and teachers teach effectively. The fourth subpoint will be kids with family difficulties will get more help from their peers and teachers at school. The fifth subpoint that we stated was more cohesive and less stressful environment and no fear of loss of grades nurtures creative learning and out-of-the-box thinking. Thus, with cohesive environment, there is no fear of losing grades, no grade conflicts, less stress, kids and teachers learn and teach, improving the quality of education. Creative thinking means increasing better performance rates, more college enrollment, and more job employment. More research for economic and environmental issues. Fixing global warming will save millions of animals from getting extinct, reducing natural disasters, and saving many lives. And this point was refuted, but we have counter-refuted, so this still stands. Okay, so the third point that we stated was no grade inflation and disparity grading. So the first subpoint is in pass-fail, there is no grade inflation, which means no boosting of the grade to artificially show an illusion of academic rigor. The second subpoint is kids are more uniformly graded and no disparity in grading, meaning between a lenient to strict teacher based on a grader's disposition. So to impact this point, thus no illusions of academic rigor and uniformity in grading. Quality of education is high, hence the students are competent for higher studies and jobs, increasing employment rates. So with so this was also refuted, but we have counter-refuted, so this point still stands. So with pass-fail grading system, as you can see, there's an overall good quality of life, great economy, and amazing environment. But in our opponent's world, without pass-fail, there's stress on the students because of fear of losing grades and the stress on teachers to grade, and there will be grade conflicts. This does not provide for a cohesive environment, resulting in unhealthy competition and deteriorating the performance of students, resulting in kids dropping out, leading to death, stress, suicide. Also, grade inflation and disparity leads to false illusions of academic rigor, and they lose jobs because of the incompetency, thus raising unemployment and debts. So with COVID already making the system fall apart, we don't want to negatively impact the students with stress. So if there is stress, there will be the loss of life, stress, unemployment rates increasing, protests leading to protests, and finally leading to gridlock. And this means less people coming over, meaning less taxes to the government. And no one is focusing on economic and environmental issues that need immediate attention like global warming. Thus, with pass-fail grading system, the quality of life is horrible. The economy is bad, and the environment is very bad and is getting aggravated by COVID. This is going against today's weighing mechanism, which is net benefits. Judge, this clearly proves that having a pass-fail grading system can bring in more benefits for the more. And also, I would like to say we have refuted all their points. Thank you.
Nice job. All right, Divya, whenever you're ready.
Off-time roadmap for your convenience. So first I'll be refuting my opponent's new point, and then I'll be summarizing everyone's point, and then I'll be doing a two-word analysis and impacting everything else. My time starts now. Hello, my name is Divya Agrawal, and today I'll be the third proposition speaker for the topic. FUSD implementing a pass-fail grading system has done more harm than good. So for my opponent's point of uniformity, a refute to that is that you want to have more options when grading. It gives an open range of grades for students. So now to summarize their point. So that first point was helps abusive houses, and a summary of that is teachers have no experience with distance learning. The second point was improves creation, which a summary of that is no conflicts and the teachers will be interested in teaching. And the last point was on uniformity, which is more uniformity in grading will be there with the pass-fail grading system. Now on to my own point. So our first point was laziness, which is this pass-fail grading system will lead to a lot of students being lazy and not trying their best on schoolwork. The effect of this habit will be less competition, which adds to laziness and the loss of teachers' authority over their students, leading to them going on strike. Our second